Hey guys, I wanted to make a quick video to discuss home improvement. So yesterday I shared a post from my blog and it was like a pretty little infographic and it went over just a few things that you can start doing now before you get your house ready for sale. But I wanted to touch a little bit more on it just because I realized that a lot of us are starting to get our stimulus checks, and this is when the ideas start flowing as to what are we going to spend this money on. So for those of you who are looking to maximize that money or any other money that you have saved for home projects, um, I want to touch on a few things that I think will give you more return and I think are more worthwhile, simply because I do work with a lot of buyers and I tend to hear the same things over and over as to what is appealing, what they want to see, and what they do not want to see. So I think this will be helpful to some of you. Um, Number one is paint. And I know it's been said before, and I know we say it time and time again. I feel like it doesn't stick. Um, don't spend a crazy amount of money on really nice paint. Get a good medium, and this applies with like most things. If you're planning on reselling, right down the middle. You don't want that really cheap paint. You don't want that super high-end paint. You want something that's nice. It's gonna go on well, and it's gonna look like a quality paint. But I'm not so worried about the quality as I am about the overall colors and finishes that you guys are using. So don't get really dark or crazy paints. Try to think of like neutral tones that will work with your color scheme. So and there's some popular ones that are like that what is it called? There's like a one that's like a gray beige one that was super in. It doesn't really matter if you're going for either of those. Just know that the more gray tones work better with grays and whites, and then the more beige tones work better with like browns. I mean, that's just common sense. So gray does not go well everywhere. Um, but I think most of you will agree that paint does go a long way. You can spend some money and just paint the whole house one solid color inside, and it's going to look very uniform, very clean. And I want you to think about it from the perspective of the home buyer walking into the home and thinking, okay, well, if there is a really dark paint in the home, then they're going to take several coats just to be able to kind of cover it up to something that they would like. So think about it as if you were buying a home and you didn't want to have to do a whole lot of work coming into it right off the bat, what would you like to see? Okay. So I think that goes a really, really long way. I think it's the number one thing that everyone should do when they are looking to start doing home improvement projects. So remember, stick to one color, especially if you have nice open living areas. I think it just looks a little bit cleaner throughout. Another thing you can do is upgrade your lighting fixtures. If you have some that are kind of outdated or don't really seem to go well with the rest of your home, or you have all these different styles going on, try to simplify. Remember, less is more. It looks cleaner. Again, I know some of you guys have really large homes and you can get away with different schemes throughout, but most of us don't. We have regular size homes and we want them to look clean and pretty and just something that flows well. Okay. Another thing that I see a lot when I show homes, and I wish people would stop doing it, is I think I think what happens is that they see a sale on flooring and they think, oh, I'm gonna get X amount of square feet just to do this one room. And then they go the next week and they go, oh, look, there's a different floor that I can put in this room. Don't do that. No one wants to see 100 different floors throughout one house. It looks messy. It looks like there's too much going on. If you can match your floor, great. If you have a couple that don't match, not a big deal, but try to stay within the same theme. If you can get the one flooring flowing throughout the whole house, that's awesome. If not, I guess the rule of thumb with most builders nowadays is like a laminate or hardwood in the main living spaces, tile in the wet areas, and then carpet in the bedrooms. You can do that, but honestly, especially if you have a small space, try to follow it with one flooring that is good, that is going to hold up against water and things like that. Another thing that you guys can be working on as well is just upgrading your kitchen a little bit. Some of you guys are really good at DIY type things, so you can paint all your cabinets and they're going to look amazing. If that's not you, we have the internet. Use the resources that are available to you so you can actually do a good job, see what's in, see what's not in. And if you have some money to spend and your kitchen is a little dated, go ahead and spring for maybe a nice granite. It doesn't have to be top of the line, doesn't have to be anything over the top, just something that's nice. It looks a little bit more high end. Again, very subtle colors. You don't want a whole lot of different things going on. Another thing that you can also do during this time is obviously declutter. Get rid of all the things that you don't need. If your house looks like there's so much going on that you cannot walk, you need to go ahead and try to make it as comfortable as possible. And then you can also take this time to do a good cleaning. If you want to power wash, if you want to touch up anything, clean the grout, I don't know. But so these are just some examples of really inexpensive and then middle of the line expensive, depending on how much you have to do. So hopefully this was helpful. If you guys have any questions or you want to send me a picture of what you guys are working with and say, okay, well, which would you recommend between A, B, and C? I'd be more than happy to tell you, or ask Facebook, because Facebook will tell you, or Instagram, or whatever you use. You know, ask your friends for advice, and, you know, hopefully they have good taste. But if not, I'd be more than happy to answer some questions. And the last little thing I wanted to mention is, if you are spending money into your home, be aware of how much your home might actually be worth, so that you're not overspending, or you're not, as we say, pricing your home out of that neighborhood, basically, meaning that you're making the house a lot nicer than what it could potentially sell for. So that's another thing you can go ahead and reach out to me for. I'd be more than happy to show you what your home is worth, and then that way it might help you make these decisions moving forward. So anyways, hope you find it helpful, and let me know if there's anything else I can do to help. I hope you guys are staying safe out there. I'll talk to you soon.